Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Folks, I got to admit, this is take number 2 on this video. You know, some days the words flow out just fine and perfect. Other days, you just stumble along and for some reason the words just don't want to flow. So bear with me. I seem to be having one of those days today. But what we got on the table today are a couple of Timberline knives, and that's a brand that I was not familiar with. And these knives came out of that big basket of knives that I bought. So before we get into these very unique knives, I just want to remind everyone that Western Razor Company has been very generous, offering a 10% discount on any orders over $65. This offer is for Knife Delights viewers. You just have to use promo code Knife Delights 10, and this offer is good until 31 May 2025. And I encourage you all to take advantage of this discount. The Western Razor, all USA made. I bought one. I'm using it. I enjoy using it. And as always, I don't get any compensation for this. I'm just trying to help out another company with USA made products. So the history of Timberline knives begins in 1982 when a gentleman by the name of Jim Hardenbrook and Vaughn Neeley, both in Colorado, got together and decided to start making some knives. And the company history is, well, it's kind of odd from that point on, because in the mid-1990s, the Timberline was acquired by Gatco, and then again, it was purchased by W.R. Case & Sons when they bought Gatco. So, and I don't know what year that was. I'm not familiar with Case making any Timberline branded knives. If they have, you Case guys out there, let me know in the comments below. But it's interesting that Case, of course, Gatco was known for making sharpeners, I believe. So Case bought that, and the Timberline went along with it. Before I move from this slide, I'll just point out on this particular model here, it has, yeah, here it is. It says Equip USA Inc., Mancos, Colorado. So this appears to be an advertising knife. And this equipment company does not seem to be in business any longer. Now, there's been a long history of locking knives. Probably the ones that we're most familiar with is the old Buck 110s when they came out in the early 60s. Buck really, revolutionized the lock back. Of course, this is a Colonial Ranger here. But when Buck came out with this locking system, it just revolutionized the locking knife industry, and just about every company came out with their own version of a lock back, whether it's like this or a mid-lock or what have you. Here's another example of a locking system, and this is a knife made out of Germany. It doesn't have a brand name on it, but it's got an interesting lock right here. So, as knives go through their different evolutions and upgrades, people are always trying to invent something new. And Buck's design sure won out, but it doesn't seem like the Neeley lock really took off. Now, while trying to do some research on the Neeley lock, I came across the Arizona Custom Knives website, and they sell a lot of knives, either custom knives or knives that are no longer in production. And I believe it's this model right here, although this is a red or burgundy color. But they describe this knife as bead blasted blade with dual thumb studs. And the handle is FRN. The knife features the Neeley lock. The knife opens normally, but to close the knife, pull the thumb studs forward and the lock will release and the knife can close. So, yep, that's what you do. Now, on this one, this model, it's kind of soft, and it's hard to use these thumb studs. They're not very pronounced. I have to use two hands. And that does not snap. It's locked in place, but you don't have a good snap. Now on this model, again, pull the thumb studs forward, and then you can fold it down. On this one here, that one really snaps into place. Now these are two different models, and I have not been able to find any information on this model here. And just looking at it, some of the differences here, the blade shape is just a little different. This has a much deeper hollow grind than this one up here. And no pocket clip, and this model has a pocket clip. So Von Neeley applied for this patent in 1990, and it was approved in 1991, and probably expired in 2009. So just the abstract description of the patent was: a folding knife apparatus includes a blade having a tang secured to a case or housing. Wedging action between the tang and the case locks the blade open and closed. The tang includes a longitudinally extending slot, and the case or housing includes a pin extending through the longitudinally extending slot. Wow, see what I'm saying, folks? Gotten some peanut butter mouth this morning. A spring is disposed in the slot and biases the blade against the pin to help lock the blade in place, particularly in the open use position. Axial movement of the blade is required to unlock the blade from its position in order to pivot the blade. A cam relationship exists between a portion of the tang and a portion of the case or housing to urge the blade to the closed position. Now, unlike the buck locking system, it does not seem like the Neeley took off and became very popular. But it is very unique, isn't it? Now, these are lightweight knives. And let me grab the scale here real quick, and let's just get a weight on them. Okay, we'll put the first one on there. And we're coming in at 1.7 ounces or 48 grams. And the other one here is 1.5 ounces or 42 grams. So you can see they are both very lightweight. We'll set the scale aside. Check our close length. 4 inches or so, roughly, give or take. Yeah, looks like they're both right around 4 inches closed. And we'll just get an open length here. Easier to lay it that way, isn't it? So we've got about, what is that? 7 inches. And 7 inches. Cutting edge on the blade is about 2.5 inches. And about 2.5 inches. So the blades have just a little bit different shape to them, but they're about the same size. Look there, you can check out the thickness here just a little bit. Now, it's confusing because if you look up Timberline knives, it seems like they made some very high quality fixed blade knives. So again, if you go to that Arizona Custom Knives website, they have a lot of different models of the Timberline knives. Why they went out of business, why they sold out, I don't know. I don't know the current status of that trademark. Again, all you case lovers out there, if you're familiar with it, please let me know. I just happen to think that both of these knives just represent an attempt at innovation, and you never know what's going to take off and what's not going to take off, but it's got the DNA of those, early 80s and 90s where they're trying to come up with new ideas for modern folding knives, and so a couple of great pieces of history right here. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, until next time, have a very delightful day.